Hello everyone, joining us now at the Canadian Science Policy Conference is Elizabeth Cannon. Thank you very much for being here. You are the president of the University of Calgary.
I am.
I guess when we're talking about science policy, you are the beginning of it, sort of, where it originates from.
Well, where it originates from and where it gets exercised, so to speak. So if there's a national science policy that can influence research programs, research funding, and of course that has a direct impact on us. So yes, we can influence science policy, and we're also affected by science policy.
So when you look at a conference like this, what is your main message when you come here? Because you're one of the keynote speakers as well and part of a panel. What is your key message?
Well, key message today really is looking at the innovation system and talking about the role of the academic sector, the role of universities in driving innovation in Canada and how that should and could impact science policy.
And how do you think it should?
Well, if you look at what we do, it's tremendously important. Universities conduct, obviously, basic research through to applied research. We interface with industry, but we have a huge role in training of students, both undergraduate students. There are over 1 million students in undergraduate studies in Canada right now, grown 44% since 2000. In terms of graduate programs, there are almost 150,000 graduate students in Canada, a growth of over 80% since 2000. So we're an engine of the system in terms of the training of people that go on to drive our economy. So in terms of science policy, we're very invested in programs that support the growth of people, but also that support the growth of ideas.
And it's interesting too, because some of the reports that we've heard about at this conference have been saying how well Canada does when it comes to knowledge generation. And the phrase that I've heard over and over again is, we punch above our weight. Obviously, universities play a huge role in that because you're the ones coming up with the papers.
Absolutely.
Do you think that there's something that we should be doing? Because what we do well in that area, we don't do quite as well when it comes to patents or when it comes to developing the product afterwards. Do you think we should be pushing in that direction?
Well, I think that's part of what we should be doing. Again, we have a responsibility within our sector on the training of undergraduate and graduate students. We have to look at our programs. Are we graduating students with the right skill sets? They certainly have the disciplinary knowledge. It's very rigorous, top quality across the country, but are there other skills that our students should have so that they can more easily fit into and help shape the innovation systems? I think we have to be realistic of what universities can do. We do commercialize some of our ideas, but we're not going to be driving the commercialization agenda for the country. That sits with industry. So then you say, what are the partnerships we need to create between industry and university so we can leverage our idea creation and our people to help support industry growth?
Okay. Your funding comes from the federal government for the most part?
Federal government,
Yep.
provincial government, industry, foundations.
Any tougher getting that funding than it might have been in the past?
It's always very competitive. If you look at the quality of the ideas, the number of people competing for the pie, so to speak, yeah, it's very, very tough in the front lines. However, I will say that even in some of the tough fiscal environment that we've been in Canada, I have to give credit to the federal government and even our own provincial government for continuing to invest in innovation, in research and development, both at the basic side through to applied and partnerships, because we've heard the Prime Minister say this is important. If Canada is going to grow, if it's going to keep its place on the world stage, we have to invest in innovation and in our people. So we have seen, even in tough times, some of our programs being protected and in some cases additional investments made. So that's been a very important signal to our community, because our faculty, they can go anywhere in the world and they're looking to be in environments where they can reach their potential, and a lot of that is driven around the people they're going to be working with and the access to resources to drive their programs.
Preston Manning was saying that what he thinks is one of the, I guess, blocks that prevent a national science policy from going ahead and being successful right now perhaps is the fact that there needs to be more communication and earlier communication. Do you agree with that?
I do agree. I think one of the challenges is we are living in an age where there is a lot of data out there, there's a lot of information, but getting it harnessed into knowledge that is digestible, understandable, and to the right person at the right time, it is a huge challenge. I think we can do a better job within the academic sector of positioning what we do to the federal and provincial politicians and policymakers, but also having that attention paid back, that the political and bureaucratic levels understanding that science has a role and science-informed decision-making is going to be healthy in terms of driving where Canada wants to go.
Okay. Now, much smaller scale, this conference. It's the first time it's been held in Western Canada. Your thoughts on it?
Well, it's great to have it here in Calgary and at this wonderful TELUS Spark Centre. It's great the University of Calgary is a major sponsor. We think it's tremendously important to have this dialogue outside of Ottawa, to have it around the country. You can see a huge uptake in terms of interest, maximum number of presentations and people. So I think it's really a huge success on all counts.
Wonderful. Elizabeth, thank you very much for joining us.
Thank you.
We've been chatting with Elizabeth Cannon, the University of Calgary president.